Dashboards in Unit4 Prevero enable us to bring together all the key information we use to run the company. That data may come from one or many different sources, including Unit4 Prevero itself. We can present this data in various different forms, such as a traditional table that is interactive and allows us to drill down and view the hierarchy from a product perspective. Alternatively, we can use interactive charts, such as an icicle chart, where we can visualize proportions and drill down to analyze the performance of our products. We can even customize the charts on the fly by excluding or including data with the click of a button. Interactive bar charts allow us to drill down and understand the data down to a bottom level. There are multiple charting options that are available in a dashboarding solution. All the dashboard widgets allow for individual filtering. We can also filter through multiple widgets at the same time by using global filters. We can even conduct a geographical analysis as seen here on the map of Europe. If you want to find out how the turnover was distributed over Germany, we can just drill our way down into the map and find ourselves in a map of Germany with the turnovers displayed by region. We can now take a look at examples of planning in Unit4 Prevero. First of all, we will take a look at an example of bottom-up sales planning. We can see here that we conduct our sales planning for the next year down to a single product level. I can make use of drivers and assumptions to generate certain parts of the planning. For example, costs of materials can be planned as a percentage of the sales price and then multiplied with the price to result in the absolute costs of material. We can set targets for individuals by communicating them top-down. Using visual aids in red and green, a user can see whether he hit the target or still needs to improve his planning. As you can see, the current planner did still not reach his goal. In order to reach it, he might change values on a product level. For example, he might increase the turnover of a single product. Since the turnover is the result of quantity times price, he can now choose whether he wants to change the price or the units to be sold in order to generate the turnover he desires. Alternatively, he might work with shortcuts. The planner could just say that he wants to raise the turnover by 10%, and the system translates the shortcut into a turnover. Instead of operating on a product level, he might just set the total planned turnover to the target value and recalculate his entire plan to reach the value he put in. The planner might even want to leave a certain comment on his sales plan to explain values or to state environmental situations that might not be quantifiable right now. For this purpose, Unit4 Prevero offers formatted text boxes that allow for a maximum of customization regarding texts. Charts might also help with the planning process. For example, you might want to visualize the difference between actual and budget values using a bar chart with delta markers. You could even show the creation of the contribution margin for each product using a waterfall chart. You can choose the product you want to visualize by clicking a button next to it. Right now, we are looking at this on a yearly level. Instead, we could switch to a monthly perspective. It's also possible to go down to a weekly, a daily, or even hourly level. Also, we can leave comments just by right-clicking a cell and read them by using a mouse over effect. As soon as the user is done with his planning, he can click the Submit button and send his sales plan to the responsible manager for evaluation. The manager receives a notification by mail. Let's take a look at the workflow perspective. Every process in the planning could have its own workflow. Workflows can be modeled for every process in the company. We enter the sales planning workflow and see a real-time view of the various different statuses of the sales planning process. We can drill down and see the submission of Christian Jones that we handed in our sales planning example. If I am the responsible manager and have the user rights necessary to view this sheet, I can now either approve or reject the submitted plan. I can use the link to jump to that submission, and I can also add comments which the planner will receive by mail to understand why exactly his submission has been rejected. We can now go into personnel planning. In this example, we plan on single employee levels. You could just as well plan for groups of employees or use a combined approach of those two. Here we have the data for our employees with start dates, salaries, pension schemes, and every other information we can map to our colleagues. All you see in this video are just examples. Unit4 Prevero allows for maximum flexibility and can be customized to fit your enterprise. So the columns you see here could be replaced with different costs and assumptions like pension rates, insurances, tax rates, and so on. The assumptions might also vary from country to country, so Switzerland might have completely separate assumptions from the UK. I could view this for a particular cost center, or I could move up and look at a whole headcount on a regional level. The system offers an integrated financial model. This means that all our plans are connected to our financial statements. Any change we induce in the HR plan, the sales plan, the cost plans, and so on have an immediate effect on our financial statements. An income statement could look like this. In this example of an income statement, we compare the actual value to the budgeted value and derive a variance. To visualize the variance, we use conditional formatting. Not only is the variance value colored either green or red if the actual value is either better or worse than the budgeted value, but a diagram allows for conditional formatting too. The variance displayed by the middle bar changes its color depending on the mathematical sign. This income statement allows us to drill down into the data. We can click on a value we are interested in and go to a more detailed view of how this value is derived. Here, we can see an overview of all the cost factors that result in our overall cost of sales, as well as the turnovers we achieve and the resulting margins. A graphical component like these bar charts might be helpful to compare the contribution margins of the various products. Different colors for product groups and single products help the assessment. The integration of the segment plans is a very similar case for the balance sheet and a cash flow. The changes in our segment plans result in immediate changes in our cash flow statement. When it comes to reporting, we can still use Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. We can integrate Prevero data into those various different document types. We can even upload the documents to the system and access them right out of our dashboards. Here, we have a Word document, which is formatted exactly the same way as a standard Word document, including texts, tables, and charts. However, the information displayed here actually comes from our Unit4 Prevero system. So for example, this comment has been entered into the system, not into Word. So in order to keep this report up to date, I don't need to copy and paste these values from our planning system. Rather, I can just connect Word to Unit4 Prevero, log in with my user, and simply click on Refresh Values. Word gets the new values from the system, and my report is up to date.